Hey, how you guys doing? Okay, let's do this thing. Let's start out with our London system first and foremost, and then we'll go to the games. We're gonna do my games tonight. I wanted to show you guys those games, the two games that I played. Really good. I lost one from this player, but then I came back and won twice, and so it was. I just made a pact that I was going to win. I won as white and I won as black. Okay, let's do it. Okie dokie. Okay, d4, d4, d5, knight s. Okay, so far. c3, c6, b, and then this is a dubious move, so I will put in the notation as we go. This is a dubious move. Yeah, it's a super passive. Hello. Hello. Yeah, this is super passive and rather difficult for the white queen to actually, black queen to actually do anything. They said it's very similar to what white does with, what black does to white in the London system, like when the queen actually comes out here and then the queen comes back because of the push there. That's kind of what happens. It's very similar, and rather than coming to b6, which is actually the best move, queen b6, they actually went. This is actually the best. But what happens is at this point he would play there and he would play back. And so you have to be careful that his next idea is kind of a weird. It's very similar almost to the London system for black. It's kind of odd. It's like it has the same pyramid type of thing, and the queen's outside. But it's, in my opinion, it's like the reverse London. And if it was a position, and then black's idea would be to play b6, but one thing that's different is that it's black's a move behind, so that's actually the only difference. But they played passive, which is queen c8, and so rook a c1 and then a6. Yeah, black was worried about the tactic. The reason he played a6 about the tactic of b5, because b5 would, like if sorry, c take let's see, so d takes c. I have to make sure I'm doing this because I want to make sure I'm right, putting in my notes properly, because I put it in from the book and then I have notes. So I just want to make sure I'm putting the notes in right. Okay, good. So this would be the line, and this gives white a great position right here, because what'll happen is f3 and then a push. So this is actually the continuation of the notes I wanted to show you. Queen h7, knight f3, castles, bd7, knight bd7, and rook f to e1, which gets an exclam mark. Sorry, gotta push that back up for you guys. And then he plays actually knight h5 to. This is what he's thinking right here is that it's going to, he can take away the dark squared bishop and then maybe minimize the attack, but it actually backfires, because we don't really care about that, because all we care about is if the knight takes here, we can take back with our knight. And now we got a huge attack coming down the pike. We also potentially have e4 after taking the bishop back here. We trade off the bishop, so there's a lot of attack coming. H to f6. Yeah, Black realized that this actually loses here. This is a subline of a subline. Knight takes with this is a question mark. This is if he took rather than just retreating back, which is the proper way to do it. Doesn't get an exclam, but it's the proper way to actually kind of hold the position. And what we do is take back here, and now when he moves there, e4 like what we talked about, bishop g6, and then d5 exclam. Leads to disaster for Black. This, whatever he plays, he's just going to get totally stomped here. Because if he takes here, we take, and if he takes, then you can play knight takes, and he's getting demolished. So he can't do that. So he moves back, and you just gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Let's see here. Okay, e4, bishop g6, bishop f4, knight e8, e5, exclam. That's actually a really good move. This takes full advantage of the knight. We're also gaining space. We're slowly depriving Black of his spatial advantage. So d5 is played, knight d5, and bishop takes d5, e takes d5, knight takes d5 with a discovery on the queen, and white has won a pawn. So in this line, white's won a pawn. The queen will have to move either here or there, and then we always can just pick up the bishop if need be, or just go for a actually, let's see, pick up. Maybe we may just retreat our knight. I'm not sure. It all depend which way the queen goes, but the line stopped there, so that's why he played a6 rather than c takes d4 or d takes c4. So we played knight to f3, knight bd7, and let's see. Actually, sorry, I put the notes in. I forgot. Okay, and they're saying rather than knight bd7, white doesn't have to worry about this here. This is actually a mistake. Like there's no worries. Like e5 can be played, and if d7's played, c takes d, e takes d, knight takes d, because the pawn can't take back because of the pin. Winning, this gets an exclam. This wins a pawn on the spot. And they're saying if rather than okay, bishop e7, or sorry, not a7, bishop e6. Boom. Yeah, because we got to retreat our bishop back. That's right. Knight c7 check. Queen takes c7. Queen takes bishop. Pawn takes, and then bishop. Oops. Then bishop takes. And I think if we're counting the pawns, let's see, 2. So we have 7. We're a pawn up in this line. We're a full pawn up. And we also have the 2 bishops, so we're totally in charge here. So h3 was played, which actually is an exclam mark, because what that does is it stops the advance of the knight going to h5 anymore, because the bishop could just drop back at that point. Once the knight goes to h5, like something like this. This wasn't in the book. This is a move. I'm just putting this in to show you guys. That's why this was an exclam move. So that's why e7 was played, e2, and then castles. Potentially h6. It could be played. Then castles, fd1, and it looks like an unorthodox queen's gambit decline. Except black's queen is uncomfortably placed. So that's an idea. Then castles. So castles. Knight to h4 with an exclam. This gets an exclam mark because it's going after this bishop, and if we could trade off his good bishop, actually his most active bishop. It's funny, this bishop right here on e7 is black's best bishop, but the problem is it has no scope. And if we can get the light square bishop from black, even though it's his worst bishop, in Jeremy Silma's terms, it's an active bad bishop. Once we get it off the board, we'll have the two bishop advantage. We'll rip the center open, and we'll dominate black. Okay, so bishop g6 was played, but they said also e4, bishop e4 could be played here, and we castle. We don't need to take it right now. There's no real reason to take it. You castle, c takes d, bishop takes the pawn, d4, or d5, knight takes d5, e takes d5, and knight f5. If bishop would take, we can pick off the bishop, and this gets an exclam mark, because if, like what we were talking about, if that's taken, we come right in here, and if the king moves, we come smashing through. And if that takes, then what we could do is, let me see here. Probably just retreat out. And if he takes, we just bring our rook over to a1, and we regain our pawn. So that's kind of that sitch. Let's see here. But let's see. Okay, we're at this point here. Let's go all the way to move 12 on here. Instead of takes, they're saying he could play knight to rook e4, e8, sorry. C takes. Not C takes. E takes d5. E takes d5. F4, F1. I'm F3. F1. That's funny. Bishop g6. Knight takes g6, because now we have acquired our goal of the two bishop advantage. H takes g6, and we have e4 with a lot of pressure for white down the center. We're starting to open up the center. Remember, two bishops love the open center. So that's kind of what happened there. So let's moving onward, moving on up. Let's see here. This is what was actually played. They're saying what would happen if the pawn takes here. This is a double. This is a blunder, a huge blunder. This actually loses. It drops a whole piece at this point. King h8, and knight takes. A takes the knight. A takes pawn, and now we're up one whole piece. In the end, we emerge a piece up. That's why he doesn't play that. He just took there rather than doing that. It'd been tempting to have taken, but we didn't. And so pawn takes. White emerges opening with considerable strategic advantage. Number one, bishop pair. Number two, big pawn center. And number three, central, a whole bunch of central space. That's that idea. And black goes and does something really strange. I didn't understand why he played h7. That doesn't really have any practicality. He's having a trouble coming up with like a plan, so he just moved his king. It's like, whoa. I'm like, what in the world? But white doesn't play the best response. That's actually a very dubious move. There's really no reason to push this. Hey, hi Fox. There's no reason to really push this attack, because we could just wait and play on the queen side. Like, the move that was best would actually be bishop d2, d3 with an exclam mark, because this pins the pawn and also allows our knight to be developed. It maintains the bind on black, this move right here. He can't push his pawn here. He can't really do anything. Everything is, he's like cramped. And so e4 would be, he wouldn't play e4. Let's see, d3, not, let's see here. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Let's see, e4. That's what it said. I think that loses a whole piece, so I don't think that's right. I might have put in, maybe it's d4. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, I gotcha. My bad there. He played b5. That's what it was. I knew that was funny. That was a mistake. That is hilarious. White. Oh, I missed it. Sometimes there's like 3 dots, which means black, and 1 dot means white. I think I missed it when it showed just 1 dot. That is funny. Oh, that's funny. So queen b7 to kind of hold on to this. This actually did a discovery on this pawn on c6. So the queen comes, and then we play g5 check. Boom! It's like smacking right in the face of black, saying, "Come on, bring it on." King g8 goes, and then we go wham, boom. It's like, and you gotta love it when that happens. It's like we have checked and we just smashed another pawn off the board. F takes, and then queen goes crunch. And black's just getting demolished. One step at a time, we're just crushing him. And then bang! It's like, what in the world? We just won, I believe, 2 pawns, and we're going to pick up and exchange to boot. And that's pretty darn tootin' impressive there. What, black's in such a humongous problem right now. I love it when these moves are like that. It's just so fun when you get to see that. But he played that instead of that move. That would have been so much fun to have actually played. And now this move right here, it does make sense to black. See, now you see why, rather than e4, if he would have went to bishop to d3, b5 would not have done really anything for black. It would have actually only weakened black's position. But because the bishop is now on c4, b5 does do something. and that's why it gets an exclam, because it now attacks the bishop. It's a tempo. It's a move for a tempo. And we also don't have a discovery anymore. If the bishop was here, we would have a discovery on this pawn here from the rook. But we don't, so that's sad. Yeah, black seizes the chance to fight back. So you gotta, you know what? You gotta commend black. He's in a bind attack, and he's still holding out. So we gotta commend black for that. White took. This is a dubious move as well. The proper move is, of course, e5. Remember, our idea is to slowly increase the bind, and that gets an exclam right here. An exclam move. c5 is c4 is played. Queen c2 with a pin on the pawn. d5, knight d5, to see if he can't snap off one of the bishop pair and maybe hold the position for a draw. But of course, we're not going to let that happen, are we? Let's see here. Let's see, c4. So, c2, knight d5. Okay, knight takes d5. E takes d5. Oops, because we don't want to trade off. These are our babies right here. These are the one we worked our whole entire game to get the two bishop pair. We do not want to give them up, even if we have to get rid of a knight, which in a closed position is good. The position is gonna be open. We're gonna crack the position open, and when we do, a light square bishop here is just devastating. So and this bishop devastates there, so we're just like owning the entire board. So that's kind of why we took. And then e4, boom. Oh, sorry, e3. That's strange. It likes that move. Okay, maybe did I put that on? E takes d5, right? E takes d5, e4. Oh, I see. My bad there. They want to play f4. I forgot. This is kind of the idea. f4, then you play f5, and you start just breaking open. Then you have a rook comes over and check after we dislodge, of course, this dark squared bishop, and black will be going down in flames. Okay, let's see here. If knight didn't, let's say the knight didn't play here, right? But the knight played e8, knight e8. This is actually what would happen. Bishop f3 to attack the rook. Rook a7, d5, e takes d5, knight takes d5, queen d8 to kind of get out of any ideas and also do a discovery on our knight potentially. Maybe with knight b5 to attack. And rook c to d1 to protect the knight with a discovery ourselves. So that, let's say he plays knight b6, we can actually take back and then have domination of the open file. Let's see, okay, bishop g5 to kind of see if we can't get rid of the bishop pair. Bishop d2. Now we're really threatening some big time attack with knight to, if he tries that there, knight f6 is a monster of an attack. Okay. Okay, okay, d6. Okay, bishop takes f. Queen takes f. Black is tangled up and everything, because he really can't move this, because if he does, we take back with an attack. Also, we have a potential even worse. If he moves here, we can do that with a discovery. So Black's all in a lather, and he's not doing really well. C takes D5 is actually dubious. It should have been the other move that we talked about. E5 should have been played. We just sometimes you got to be careful when you start grabbing material. Make sure that you don't get played out of position. So he takes, because that helped develop a piece and attack the queen. So the queen has to move, then b4. This actually for black. Black's fighting back now. We don't want black to fight back. We want black to be passive and us to fight back, not black. But that's okay. Knight c takes. We're winning a pawn. He wins a pawn. Black is equalizing at this moment. Queen takes. F takes the rook. Queen, and then b6 with a but he actually can trade off. And then rook d8 is played. There's also a line if he plays a7, which I don't really like, because this allows for that to happen. Then d7, knight takes. Now we have the two bishop advantage again, and now rook has to take, and then h2. That gets an exclam mark, because we want to save our we're predicting any attacks for here. We just don't want anything. So knight d5, and there's really nothing he can attack. Smack. Rook a7, bishop d3 to hold on to, d3, sorry, not c4. That attacks the knight. More aggressive. e2 f6. Right here. Gotcha. Just want to make sure. Okay. a1, and now we hold the pawn. We're up in a whole entire, let me see, 5. We're up a pawn, and we have the two bishops, and basically an open game. We're going to totally stomp. This gives white a chance for a win, and the ability to create an outside passer, because we got 2 versus 1. So so takes C D, okay, and white blunders here. That was a we missed the move. This is actually an exclam move. He got a little too. He saw a pawn and took it. If a5, that's fine. Rook c7 to attack the bishop. g8, knight g8 to guard the bishop. And black's pieces are starting to be passive. Now we bring a rook to a7, attack the pawn, and then bishop to f6. They're trying to undermine our pawn on b2, and then we play knight to c4. We're protecting the pawn, protected the knight. So this keeps black under a lot of pressure, because this is a weakness. We got that protected. The knight can't come. The rook can't come in. If the rook tried to attack, it doesn't really bother us. We'll just take his a pawn and then have the 2 pawn advantage again, which would make a passed pawn outside. But he played a6, and thankfully his opponent did not see that, and he blundered right back as well. He did another double question as the same. What black should have played here was actually c5. Bishop c5, knight c8, Bishop takes, boom. King f1, knight f5, bishop h2. These are all forced. Rook d2, bishop e2 to attack the knight, kind of break, and white's basically in full retreat, and boom, baby. Oh, for a while. And so you have to remember that don't give your opponent any counterplay. And that's if white had seen this move, which is actually, I believe it's an exclam, yeah, gotta give it an exclam mark. This starts this whole chain of devastation on white. But he wanted to, he was so scared of the two bishops that he blundered by playing that. He wanted to get one of the bishop pairs off. He didn't see his own attack. He started reacting to his opponent. And when you start reacting to your opponent is when you start losing. That's what Jeremy Silman says. So you got to make sure you don't react to your opponent. You play your game. Don't let your opponent have you play his game. So keep that in mind when you think of a move. Am I reacting to my opponent, or am I playing my move and also stopping my opponent from doing what he wants to do? Okay, takes. Okay, bishop e, d4, knight takes. So we're getting huge exchanges now. And now we've come down to, yes, black has this mega pawns on the king side. We, though, have a potentially of making of outside pass pawn. So rook to a5. Now we're attacking the bishop and also eyeing this f7 pawn as well, which if we can get the f7 pawn, these would be isolated and targets to be snipered at, like pew pew pew. Okay, bishop. Then this actually, surprisingly, we really don't want to win this pawn here. Remember, our goal is what? Outside pass pawn, right? So he takes here, and what we do is, but there's a better line. I mean, it's an okay line for black. It's not the best line, but this only helps white to reconsolidate his pawns. So this is the line that potentially would arise if rook to b5, a4, because if takes, we'll just take back. B takes, king g8, rook a8 check, h7, because he doesn't really know what to do, a4. This also loses for black, and there's really no good way for black to stop the a pawn because it's going to queen on the opposite color of this bishop. So the only way that this bishop would be able to stop is to sacrifice itself on a7. It can't come here and stop it because it's a dark squared, dark colored bishop, not a light squared bishop, but a dark squared bishop. So that's why he played there. So we're okay now. A takes, and then king to e2. Now this, we're getting our king active. His king's pacified, and there's nothing really he could do. This is also on a light square. That's on a dark square. We're just going to walk our king over, grab this, walk the pawn up the board, and win the game. So e5 is played. Not king d2, c3, bishop c3. Sorry. And black avoids. Oops. Let me see. No, this avoids if we played g5. This is actually a mistake here. King c4, king g6, king takes b4, f5, trying to pawn storm a4, e4, a5, f5, f4, a6, and white is just too fast. There's no way to prevent the any of his pawns from queening, because his bishop dominates all the spots that the pawns would go through if it tries to go through there. And if it tries to queen, look at the bishop guards every one of those squares. So there's no way that the queen will happen. It'll even sacrifice itself to queen. So that's why basically the queen just went to c3. The bishop, not queen, the bishop, sorry. a4, wham. And if this, of course, you see if takes, here the bishop falls. So we'll just show you. If you take here, and then it's totally game over. So this would be a we'll give this a double question mark, because if you were ever wondering, oops, wrong one, that's not the double question mark, this is the double. Come on, get back up there. There we go. That was just R notation. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. Alright, here. This is a interesting move, so that gets an interesting mark. Come on. This gets a dubious mark because there's no real reason for white to have done that. He could actually just take here. He should have just taken with knight takes b4. Sorry, knight takes e4, because that gets an exclam. You have to have courage, because b6, king, e5, and then a4, a5, and what happens is there's no way to prevent, because even if it moves to b2, the king can get to c2 and stop the queening. And then we'll just get our pawn on a light square, come over here, trade off, queen, and if the king somehow gets over here, we'll just walk our king over and gobble this up. But he plays there, so that's dubious. You gotta be careful not to react, and don't fear. Calculate. You know, you have to know. Can I take and then come back in time? Yes, you can. King b3. Sorry. f4, a5, f4, a6. And then sweet thing about the king being here is that it blocked the pawn from being captured along there. So his own pawn imprisoned his bishop. d2, queen b6. This is going to end up becoming a queen. e3, f takes, c2. This gets an exclam, because you know what? Don't get sucked into. Don't fall for this move here. That actually is a losing move. This loses on the spot. Well, not on the spot, but it allows for, let me see here, e2, f2, and then e3. It saves. It actually saves and deflects the bishop, because this will actually be a draw now. Because if e1 takes a2, king takes b, and basically you could agree to a draw here, because the king will come over, and there's no way you can get at these, because the bishop will just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth along here. Once this pawn's, once white gets this pawn, the bishop will get on here and just go back, forth, and you have a draw. So happily, he did not do that. He played c2, king c2, b check, takes, and now because the pawn isn't on a7, this idea of e3 doesn't work. Bishop e3 doesn't work, and so we can play bishop e1, and bishop e1 stops the pawn and allows our king to get in and gobble up that pawn, and we then can come back around and escort the pawn up the board and be a whole piece, and our king and bishop will demolish these pawns. So h6 is played, king c4, remember we're coming in, king g5, and then king d3, and with that white resigned. I mean black resigned, not white. Black, sorry. Black resigned here. How do you do a resignation? I don't know if... Let me see. I'll have to figure that out. Somehow there'll have to be a way that we can... Not see, what in the world? Hold on. c4. What did I do wrong? c4? How did I get c4? Sorry, c3. That was weird. I put c4 in there. That's funny. It really doesn't matter. You could just come up that way or there, but that's just a quicker win. And so let's go back to the part. The summary is when it was the same position all the way back here. We'll go to the point of what we were talking about. This right here, queen to c8 in this type of position, it's a queen's gambit decline, but the problem is the queen is best placed on the d8 diagonal. It's too passive here, and it's unorthodox. It allows for the control of the the rook to come over to c1 and then dominate the c file with discoveries. So like c1, and if it hasn't played that, but let's say we take and then we take, we can drop a knight in here because there's a pin along here, and then we drop the knight in there with check. That's the trick. That's why a6 was played. It stops after takes, knight in there, and then in here for a fork. Okay, so with that, we're going to go over the two games I played today, and then we'll get on to our puzzles. And we'll wrap up with our puzzles. Okay. I'm white. Hold on, let me get a drink of water. My throat's just dry. d4, knight f6. So we're doing the London. Oh, you have a game to look at? Let me see. Alright, the end game where my opponent had two connected passed pawns and I had one protected passed pawn, and I knew the mobility that my opponent can't take. Okay, take a look at that. Alrighty. So, okay. Oh, interesting. So you're kind of slowly building like a hedgehog kind of formation thing here. Yeah. G5, G4, nice. And now you're going to try to... bishop d2. Yep, Hikaru loves the... He would actually have two fianchetto bishops, though. He's the fianchetto player. He's like a more hyper modern. d4. Yeah, it's not. It was at the thing was, I believe it was played in the Blitz, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong. I might be mistaken, or it might have been in the U.S. maybe U.S. Championship in the ladies division for the championship that it was played there. I'm not exactly sure, but it's like Yazzer says, it's a pretty stable opening. So if you don't really want any kind of risks and you want to get your pieces somewhat mobile, Hedgehog's what you want to do. But I'm an attacker, so I'm like, let's go for it. So castles, castles, castles. I'm liking this. A little positional, so not bad. You're playing positional. BD2. So your opponent has a bind on D4. We somehow have to get rid of this knight and then go for this attack here. Is there any way to do that? Well, let me see here. Let's see, do we have... Let's see, the only move that would be... I don't know. I think you're kind of forced to have to actually do that. Well, then maybe something like that would be playable. Yeah. I was looking at 93. Yeah, it would be interesting, but it'd be a little... It would give his pawn more... This would give his d pawn more mobility. And sometimes the best thing to do is just to step out of the way. Yeah. Oh, right here? Yeah. And then F4. Interesting. So he'd probably play something like that to stop that idea. Then F4 to prevent that. Then he can just get his bishop along this diagonal here. Yeah, that is interesting. Yep. Uh-oh. Yeah, we don't want to do that right away. So that is true. I was wondering if maybe that was playable here. Maybe with attack on B6. That's an interesting idea. And it's kind of, black's now very passive here. I'm thinking about potentially maybe playing here, knight to h4. So probably the A rook wouldn't be able to move, and more likely have to be this rook to guard. But then you have a double exclam move sequence. This would be a double because it locks down these 2 points. That's locked down. All of black's pieces are locked down. I think you could just take right here, and then if he takes, 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 takes. If he takes with the knight. And you're just crushing. That's dominating. So you have to remember that you don't have to worry about you have enough defenders defending this pawn here, taking here. So let's just say he takes there. He takes with the queen. So that probably might be what he plays. Well, then we can play bishop to e, and so if the queen moves back, then we snap that off. And f4. There's your f4 right there. Yeah, interesting move. Nice. You're actually winning here. You're like totally dominating. We'll see if we took here, he could take there. And then we'd push, and we have this locked. And I think we're winning here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is winning here. Yeah, I believe we're right on this. What does it think about takes? Oh, that's okay. That actually helps him out. What's it think about that? And then you push here, and that binds everything. This is the binding move right here. You're still in charge at this point. Well, it's a draw at this point. Whoa. We found the winning move here. Snikes. Wowzers. That wins. Yeah, let's see here. Then the king moves. I think you gotta play. Yeah, you play here, and then it's a race. And oops. Oh, snap, 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 snap. Okay, sorry. That was my fault. My fault. He plays there. Then you have to run. And now you can just queen. I have to remember about the, yeah. No, it's okay. Hey, you know what? That's why you put in your own moves to see if it's a good move. Okay, that was an interesting move. See, that move's still good, so we'll turn off the engine. I just wanted to see if that idea was winning. Okay, so check. You should still be winning here, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I don't think you need to play h5. King h5. I believe potentially that's an okay. Let's see here. No, I'm wrong. You do that. That is a bad move. Okay. Snap. I needed to rethink that. Let's see what would be a better move besides that. Huh. Yeah, these connected passers are a pain. You actually won this. Wow, that's good. Because this is like harder than heck to break if you're with a king. Well, it has to be there. I really don't see any. Let me see what could be played here. Yeah, I'm thinking something like that, and then there. I think that's the only way to win, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. What does it say? Oh man, I didn't think this was winning at all. I didn't think that was good. What if he comes in? What if he? Oh, so I gotcha. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Okie dokie. Gotcha. Okay, I see that now. I gotta remember that kind of in-between idea. Because if he comes in here, we can actually play there, and if he really can't push anything at that. Wow, that's pretty darn tootin' cool. And he's like stuck. This makes him stuck. Wow. So he's forced to, at that point, go there. And then we can just come in, and now you stop these two pawns, and he's the one. Man, that's stellar. This move right here is a bind like there's no tomorrow. This pawn right here that you have on e5 is your saving grace. Your e5 pawn is your saving grace. Because it guards the 2 points when the king goes here. Then our king can come there. And then if the king tries to run in there, too late at queens. See, I'll show you. Come back here. If he tries to run here, you just walk this pawn up the board. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's fun. That'd be fun to play. And your opponent stands there like this, with the open mouth, realizing what just happened. So b5. Oops, not there. Yeah. Okay, so a5. I'm still thinking that this might be winning. I still think this is winning here, or at least a draw. Let me see it. Let's see if b4 is the correct move. Yeah. b4. Yeah, b4 is the correct move. It still has the same idea with the binding problem. See that? Even if this still has the same sitch. Same sitch. And there's no way that black could take this, because if he does, you're the one that runs at that point. Oops, let's take a look here. On move 39. King f3. Let's take a look. No, it's not losing. It's just a 1-point pawn disadvantage. So who'da thunk? C6 is the if we'd played b4. Just keep this in your back pocket. Yeah, just keep that in your back pocket. On move, I thought that on move 439 losing because of c5. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on, let me see here. Oh, c5. Okay. No. It's actually a draw at that point. Because then you can fortify this, and you're drawing the game here. This is actually a draw. Oh, you're talking about that. Oh, I gotcha. I see what you're saying. So here, okay, 30 c5 here. Now, if you take there, it's still a draw, because I believe that's what makes it a draw. B4, if I'm not mistaken. I think b4 is it's the only way that it could be a draw. Because what'll happen is he'll get his king over here, and he can't come here. The funny thing is your c pawn, your c5 pawn, is actually your saving grace here, because the base chain on a3 is too far away for the king to stop your c5 pawn. So let's just say here, here, here. We'll just show what happens here, here, and if he plays there, you go up the board. If he takes here, you go up the board. You don't take. You don't want to take here. Now it's a draw. There's no way. You guys have the same pawn problems. You have two connectors. He's got two connectors. None of you can make any progress. Nice. You found b4. Great job. Surprised he didn't go for a... He should have played here, but I think the reason is that goes up the board. I think you're winning. I think you're winning at that. Nope. He missed a. This is actually a win for black. He missed the win. Because if you try to go up the board, you get check. If you try here, he comes in. If he pushes, there. Smack. There's mate. Oh yeah. I'm sorry it was made on you, but that was fun to have seen it. But sorry it would have been checkmate on your side. Surprised he didn't do a draw. Oh, you guys did. You guys did agree to a draw here. Like he's totally missed the win. I can't. I don't understand that. This is like, remember this. Remember this when you play your games. Remember this right here. This is a pattern of mate 13. Like if you're the one with the bind like that, remember we go back here. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's get back to... Hold on. Let me get this. Okay, let's see what the computer says about... So we actually did find the mating move. Let's see back here. Let's see here. That's just odd. You got to draw though. Good job though. So back here was our winning chance, right? Where is that? Let's see here. Nope. Gotta go a little further back. Instead of king to h5, not a4. This would be a mistake here. That actually is better for black, so we gotta delete this. Yeah, delete that. It's actually b4 here. Remember in this formation, just remember when pawns are like this and you have a chain that's very similar to this. Just remember what to do now when your opponent plays there. Play b4 to cement. And don't, you know what, calculate your ideas, because one thing that I find sometimes that I do is I react to my opponent's moves rather than doing my own moves. So it's a thing a chess player has to kind of understand and get under their belt. Hold on, I'll pull up our puzzles. If you have another game, we'll go over it too. Oops. But first, we'll finish off this game right here. Yeah, he actually lost a whole bunch of pawns here when I took there. I was like, let me see if queen takes its best. I believe is it bishop or queen? I wanted to make sure. So bishop. Okay. Kind of kept my bind on my opponent. Now I'm attacking his knight. I was thinking about playing there. I should have probably... I played here, and at that point he blundered with a rook move, so I took. And then now I'm taking... I take there. And I somehow have to get rid of this knight here. I wanted to dislodge, somehow get rid of these pawns. These ones here. Then I could place a bishop on c4 and pin the knight and then take this bishop. So c4 was my idea of playing the takes, and then e4, he plays back, king moves up, because I want to play c4 right now. I play c4. He kind of made a blunder there. He played there, and then I played d5. He played there, then I played d6, and now my pin idea is on, and I'm gonna win. First of all, I take, bishop takes knight, king takes, rook takes, king to e6, and then I develop my knight. I come in. I probably should have, yeah. Move 26. Okay, let's see here. 26. Oops. Oh, well, actually the problem with the skewer doesn't work because king to f8. King f8 guards the bishop. And then even if I do that, he still has rook to d8. He's closer, and I didn't want him that close. So that's kind of why I checked. Was so that his bishop would be there, and he's a couple moves away from protecting his bishop. Oh. Oh, I gotcha. Okay, rook 8. Okay, yep. But I still wouldn't be able to grab that pawn because when I do, the bishop grabs my rook. So that's why I kind of checked here, he moved there, and now I'm going after this pawn and the knight. Let me see, on move 26. Hold on, let me see. What did I... Where? Let me see. Oh, I gotcha. Oh, I gotcha. Okay. I was looking... Okay, you're right. That is right. Yep. Yeah, once you retreat back, there you go. Boom. Right. Good job, yeah. Yep. That does win. Yeah. Yeah, that would have won a pawn. I see that. Yep, that is it. It was on the... I did it on the wrong side. That's okay. Hey, we're learning constantly, and this knight is really super duper powerful because it keeps the king out so that I can take that. He goes h5, and then I just snap off that, and then I check. And I really don't want to take to let the bishop in, so sometimes you just have to say to yourself, don't take, just support. And the worst thing that happens if he takes, let's say he takes, right? I just drop my knight in there. Now my knight's protected, and it's on a really strong square. But he played f4 to attack, which now he only has one piece that could guard the e5 square, which is the king. And I have two pieces that can attack it, the rook and the knight. And then I also have the king as well. So I guess I have three. And he's just slowly getting, and then boom, I win there, I take there, and then I go smack. I just figured, you know what, it's time to come in. I take, king comes in. And I go queen, checkmate. That was my first game in my second game, I believe. And this is my that was your game. This one is my other one that I played. I'm black here. Takes, knight comes in, takes, king takes, and then he takes. He gets like taking frenzy. It's like, and then he brings his bishop there, and I bring king e2. Oh, my rating on here is 17. I think 50 something. I don't remember. Bishop takes, and then check. And now I bring my rook to boot on that pawn. And then now I'm attacking his knight. He moves back. And now I'm attacking the rook. See, bishop e3. And then smack. There goes the pawn. I loved that type of move. Then I was thinking, what should I play here? Because there's a couple different lines I could play, which is I can attack the knight. I can always bring back the bishop by the rook here and maybe swing over. I just thought, what's the most aggressive? And rook to g4 is the most aggressive. It's also on a square that white's bishop can't attack. I have the two bishop advantage. I'm actually dominating. And there's the fork. I take the rook takes, and then I'm now going after his weak pawn. He attacks the bishop. I take. He goes h. I go g3. Now I'm double attacking. Potentially that'll be an idea. That's kind of what I was thinking later, is that move. And because he would have to like go here, and then I can always just take that knight. Or if he goes here, I can always potentially just retreat my bishop back, maybe here, and then double attack his rook with my two rooks. He plays there, and then I go boom, and he resigned at that point. So I think the bishop takes is best. Let's see. I believe I was looking at it, and I think the bishop takes. Oh, it likes rook takes. Oh, it's about the same. Oh, that's why. Okay, that makes sense. So it's a 0.3 difference. Yeah, that is true. And so it liked that best, but hey, a 0.3 is not much. And I at least get to keep my I thought to myself, why trade down? I'm the one with the advantage here, and I have so much domination. I wanted my teacher taught me 3 pieces, and you can mate the king. So how many do I have around the king? 1, 2, 3. So we could say see you later, king, pretty soon. And so that's kind of why I took with the bishop. Now we will do our puzzles. Let's do this thing. Or if you guys have any games you'd like to go over, you can put in your guys' games and we'll go over those too. Alrighty. Don't tell me it's just bishop takes. Can't just be bishop takes d6, can it? It's not bishop takes d6, is it? That can't be right. What do you guys think? Bishop takes d6? Well, that's my idea. See, there's no real. Let's see here. Yeah, because if we play bishop takes d6, even if he plays knight to d h5, we just move our queen back to h2, and we should be fine. Queen h2. Yeah, I think that's about right. Let's see here. Boy. It has to be, let's see. What are we missing here? We're a whole piece up, so we potentially could, well, we need to win a pawn would be equal, but we could potentially give a piece back. What are we missing here? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that would make, yeah. Yeah, rook takes first, and then bishop d, yeah. There you go. There, good job, Fox. Good job, guys. Good job. I'll leave this puzzle with you guys. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see here. Let's see, rook b1. Yeah, let's see, rook b1. Wonder if there has anything to do with... Boy, he blundered. He should have played like bishop here. That would have stopped. Bishop there would have stopped this idea. Actually, that idea. Let's see. If we play rook b1, where could he place his queen? We'll say queen here. Hey Loki, how you doing? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that was weird. How'd that happen? That was strange. Yikes. Oh, I must have showed an idea, yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. Then the rook comes in, right? Rook comes to b8 is the best move I see. Yeah. I was wondering about this move, though. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Shows you that blunder of that move was the pawn push. It didn't let the queen get out. Hey, we solved yeah. We solved the whole sitch. Remember, like what Maurice Ashley said with a key drawback chess. Every move has a drawback. You can't avoid a move not having a drawback. And the drawback to that d5 move was it trapped the queen. It's who can do the least amount of drawbacks and use them to their mass effect wins is in the majority of the times. All right. Okie dokie. Oh, that's it. Duh. There's your mate. He's going to have to trade his queen off. So this would be mate. I'll show you the mate. Oh, nope, my bad. It's not mate. Nope, take that back. It's not mate. I was wrong. It's not mate. Nope. Sorry, not mate, because the queen, I forgot the queen could slide over. Delete that, and after I'll re-put that in. Queen g4. Sorry, the queen could actually, for black, could actually come to, for white, could come to queen to g3. That was my mistake. Yeah, that wasn't me. My mistake. That's actually, that belongs, that mating sign needs to be removed. I think the pawn can just move at that point. If we did this, checked. I think he can just move his king and he's safe. I'm thinking if we do that, we can't play there. Very irritating. Maybe we play there right away. No. Yeah, I guess that doesn't make a difference. We have to check. I guess we gotta check because the knight's attacking our rook, so we're kind of forced in that line to do that. Okay. But I don't like. We have to check. It's forced because he's forking our pieces. Yeah. E5. He takes. So if we go E5, he'll just take our knight. Well, maybe. No, he'll just retreat out at that point. We only have 5 pawns, and he has 7 pawns. So he's going to win in an endgame. See, we have 5, he's got 7. So you want to do a check? Yeah. That is right. let's see here. We also have knight. This is also weak too. Should we try rook to h e1? Would I try rook e1? Yeah, after we finish this one, I have to log off. This one was a little bit longer. I thought we would. This one, there's something with a check. We gotta be careful. We gotta keep that in mind. There's a fork of the rook and queen. So we have to constantly keep that in mind. If we, though the problem with taking, the only problem with taking is Let's give the check a try. There we go. Oh, nice. Yeah. We can't take the knight this. That's a good idea, but there's a pin. I like that idea. I think you're right. I think that's the correct idea. That makes, and then we'll come back here after he moves here. Then he moves back. But where that rook's still hanging though. Let's see if we can make this work here. I think it's queen takes e6 here, if I'm not mistaken. We don't have mate. We don't have any mate because even if we did take the knight with the pawn, we don't have mate because he'll actually come up. Yeah, I think queen takes is the correct, because yeah, we'll stop there because if we take here, I believe that he has that, and it's then we have to run. Because we can't intercept because the queen isn't there. And what he does is he has enough pawns at this moment to challenge us, and he'll just take here, and then he can maybe get his pawn majority on the queen side rolling down the board, and he's got 4 versus 3, and I don't know how it would end up. Okay, what would you like to ask? Let's see here. So after there, what were you thinking about? Queen. Oh, you can't hear sound. You're basically the chat is that's your sound. You read the chat, and that's those are your that's how you know what your team is doing. Okay, after, so we play here. Okay, knight. Okay, you're saying knight e6. Okay, gotcha. Knight e6. Queen takes e. Rook. Okay, rook d6. Gotcha. Queen e4. Gotcha. King h. And knight e5. Yep. And I believe it's the final knockout. Yeah, some streamers do music, but I like pure focus. Any other lines you guys want to look at before I log off? So you're not going to be able to hear anything on your stream. I try to make it as real to the thing as I can, like, because if you were to play in a tournament hall, which I've done before, one of the ballrooms, you're going to have to, it's completely silent in there. So you should actually, as best as you could, make it so similar. But and you can also, if you're at the tournament hall, you can also, some people bring music in, and they put earbuds in their ears, and then they listen to music. That's allowed as long as it doesn't disturb the other player. And like Wesley, so he brings ear plugs in sometimes, and he also it was funny, he had glasses this time. I loving it. Crunch crunch. I don't usually listen to music when I do it. So are you guys all good on any other lines you want to look at? After here, do you want to look at anything else? Okay, good. We got one that's good. Okay. We have one that's good. Fox, are you good? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. All right. So, guys, remember we did good today. No losses. Congrats. Great job. You know what? Even if we did, we'd go back, find out what the problem is, fix it, get better. We're starting. That even shows you the computer engines are good to, see if you kind of don't understand what a move sequence. You could put it in the computer, but you also have to remember, put it in yourself and see what the computer says, and if it likes that move, take it back and try another move, because you never know. It might be that one little calculating thing that the computer didn't see, and then you can use that on your against your opponent on the games that you play, because they may follow the computer to the T, and it's that one move that changes the tide of the battle, and they'll be like, but the computer told me this. you know that's where human creativity comes in, and the gift of the mind the Lord's given us comes in too. So remember, learn from your losses, learn from your wins, keep pushing forward. A plan like Hannibal Smith is only a plan when you're not reacting and you have your opponent reacting to your moves, and you know what you're going to do even before you play it. And like the Grandmasters, how many moves do you have to see they were asked? One move, and it's always the right move. So just keep that in mind, and remember, we're all like coal. We're going through our process of becoming a diamond, so we need to just endure through those times when it's like, I feel like I'm not progressing. All those thoughts that come into your head, put them down and say you are progressing. And Maurice Ashley even says, love the plateau. And he's the one that kind of introduced me kind of to the drawback chess idea as well. So, and it took him a while to get to Grandmaster status, and he had to really put in the time, he said, to get there. So he knows what it's like to have to grind to get the Grandmaster title. So we know what I mean. And so just keep doing good, guys. And I'll leave you with this, as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'll be back on, Lord willing, tomorrow, and we'll do some more studies, chess games that we go over. And if you guys want games to be analyzed, put them into the chat. We'll go over them, and then we'll do some puzzles and keep pushing forward. Great job, guys. Be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.